When my human self presents to me many challenges that burden me, my heart center shines and calls to me. This is who I choose to be. Sometimes lessons.
Welcome to the Vibrational Alchemy Podcast. This is Penny Fisher, and we are so glad you are joining us for this week's episode. Hello, beautiful souls. Here we are together again. I am so excited as always, and especially this week as we begin a new series in our podcast series, talking about angels. And I will be honest, when this work first started, I was a little bit leery because there are many people who are much more angel experts or expert-ish than I am. But this was part of a class that I was very, very much guided to teach probably about, oh, it was about a year and a half ago now we started. And it was a class on the archangels of the seven sacred rays or sacred flames. We're going to talk a lot more about that in next week's episode. But what happened is I started to get ready to teach this and really connect with the energy of the archangelic beings, many of whom I know and have worked with. Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Jophiel, Archangel Zadkiel. These are all angels I've worked with. What started to happen that was fascinating was it wasn't about these angels so much, but about their divine feminine complements. And the girls came through. And while we absolutely talked about each of the more well-known masculine aspects of these sacred rays, each month when we met as a group, it was the divine feminine archangels who wanted to come through, wanted to be known, and wanted to offer their support. And they are raring and ready to go again. So we're actually going to, with this very episode, we are going to start what will probably be a 9 or 10 episode series. There are 7 sacred rays, so we'll be talking about the divine feminine archangels and their divine masculine complements for each of those 7 rays. And then there are 2 other archangels that I just don't know how to do the 7 sacred rays without including the archangel of above, Archangel Metatron, and the archangel of below, Archangel Sandalphon, and their divine complements, Seraphina and Shekinah. So that'll take us to 9, and I think that'll take us right up to the winter solstice and the new year, which will be so lovely. How beautiful to end the year with this loving energy. I want to give full credit to 2 amazing authors whose books really gave me the confidence to be able to create the manuals that for those workshops and now to offer this material to you in very condensed and shortened form. There is a book by author Claire Stone called, let me check, The Female Archangels, Reclaim Your Power with the Lost Teachings of the Divine Feminine. And then the book that became just so near and dear to my heart and still is a book by an author whose name is Calista, Calista. And the book is The Female Angels, evolutionary teachings to heal and empower your life. And what happened is I was getting ready for this as these divine feminine archangels were coming and kind of knocking on the door. I'm a reader, right? I'm a voracious learner, researcher, studier. And so I got the books. But every time I would pick up a book, I was very clearly guided, not yet, not yet, not yet. And so I would sit in meditation and connect with these beautiful archangels, and they would give me information and give me messages, and it was just amazing. And then what would happen would be I would feel like I could kind of breathe, and then I would go and read the books. And I was so humbled and honored that so much of the information that I received was confirmed, validated by these books and a few others that I'll share as we go through the series. And all gratitude to those two beautiful authors, to Claire Stone and to Callista, for putting this beautiful information out there. For those of you who, like me, are bookaholics, if you buy these and then you notice that some of what I'm sharing with you is slightly different, it's because this is how the archangels came through to me. So I am a firm believer that the information that I get is very, very much gifted to the group that will be receiving it. So the information that I'm getting is specifically for you at whatever point you access this information, whether it's today, the day that this recording drops, or if it's a year from now, it doesn't matter. So as always, my darlings, with anything and everything that we do together and that you encounter on your beautiful journey, I would strongly encourage you to use what one of our teachers calls discernment. So listen with an open heart, listen with an open mind. If it resonates with you, hold on to it. If it doesn't resonate for you, just simply let it flow past you and don't even give it a second thought. Okay? We may very much be offering this as a series of classes. That would be in January of 2025. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure what my life is going to look like then. So we'll see. But today, I want to start with some kind of all about information. Every time I offer a workshop on angels, I'm reminded of how hungry people are for information about these beautiful beings. And so we're going to start today. This is really going to be a lot of information today, less experiential than usual. And we'll see how far we get. This is a topic I could talk about forever. These angels, the archangels, are some of the first beings who came through to me years ago when I started on this journey. And I love them so much. So I could just talk to you all day, but I'm going to try to keep it tight. We're going to talk a little bit about what angels and archangels actually are. We're going to talk a little bit about how to communicate with them, because they want that from us very much. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, if we have time, guardian angels. Okay, because that's another one everybody really loves to hear about and connect with. All right, are you ready? All right, let's get going. So I would love to start with a quote that just makes my heart sing, from the author Callista that I mentioned a minute ago, of the beautiful book Divine Feminine Archangels. And she says this: angels aren't separate beings from you and me, but instead are reflections of our highest capacity to love and be loved. They remind us of our divinity, that we have the wherewithal to enjoy radiant health, overflowing abundance, and magical spiritual connections, no matter our backgrounds or beliefs. They exist as universal source consciousness and act as divine messengers, supporters, and eternal friends. And I think, my darlings, that is just the perfect and beautiful description. These beautiful beings actually act as a bridge between heaven and earth, connecting the energy of source down into the earth realms, at least for us, right? The word angel is actually derived from, let me just check this. Yes, from the Greek word angelos, which means messenger. And they are 100% about radiating, communicating, sharing the love of source energy, which is pure unconditional love. They want more than anything else to assist us on our journey, however you describe your journey, whether it's the ascension path or the way to remember your way back to your divine self, or however you think about your journey in this human existence at this time. My darlings, your angels want to help you. It is why they are here. And they know that the more that we come into alignment with our true selves, the more that we remember that we are aspects of God. God is source, creator, creatrix, all that is, however you talk about it or think about it or experience it, the more we can walk in this lifetime as beacons of love, radiating hope, shining our lights. And those of you who have been with me for any amount of time know that in the world of the quantum, it is all about vibration, and the vibration that we send out into the world and beyond is what supports our fellow journeyers, our fellow travelers, in making their own shifts into higher and higher states of consciousness. So our angels want this for us, mostly because they love us so dearly and because they love humanity so deeply. And so they're there for us all the time. They're like this beautiful, it's like your best friend kind of waiting in the wings for you always. I want to talk about how we activate all of that love and support in a minute. Okay. Angels can be found across all religions, all belief systems, right? They are not bound by these kind of human constructs, let's call it that, or frameworks that we have created or that have been created as part of our human experience over time. You can literally find angels in Christianity, in Islam, in Judaism, in the ancient writings of Sumeria and Egypt and Persia and India. They do not care where we're from, what we believe, what we look like. They are here to be in service. And they love you. They see you. They know who you are. And they want to help you awaken that memory of yourself. They are standing by, like the operators way back in the day, right? Standing by, waiting for your call. They just want to help. Now, here's the really cool thing. One of the laws of the universe is this law of free will choice, which means that angels, as much as they want to help, cannot interfere and cannot inject themselves into our lives unless we ask for their help. But they want more than anything for us to call upon them. The minute that we ask for help, I'm snapping my fingers. They are there for us in the blink of an eye, in an instant. As I was getting ready to do this recording, I called on my angelic posse, and oh, I can just feel them filling the room here all around me. It's going to make me cry. Their energy is so strong and so loving and so beautiful. So if you need help, call on the angels. They will be there for you. And at least in my experience, you do not need fancy prayers. You do not need particular words. You do not need, you don't need a protocol. I talk to my angels, I talk to the angels, and especially the archangels, the way that I talk to you, and the way that I talk to friends and family. I asked them for help. What was I doing just the other day? I needed help with something that was like really silly. I can't remember. And I literally said to them, what was I having? Oh, I was having trouble with I was having trouble logging in to a site I needed to get into. And so I took a break and I went and ran some errands. And as I was in the car, I was talking to them and I said, look, I don't know who the angel of logging in to TikTok is, but whoever you are, I really need your help, please and thank you. Don't you know, I got home, went in, did the same thing that I'd spent like an hour doing before I got so frustrated and left, and I was in. I did nothing differently, except I called on the angels for help. All right, so there are many different what are called ranks or choirs of angels, and the archangels are the primary messengers of source, right? The word archangel comes from two Greek words, archi, which means first or principal, and angelos, we've already talked about, means messenger. There are many, many, many archangels. You will get to know them as you need them. You can go online and check things out. There are oracle card decks. There are books. You'll figure it out. All right. And the archangels that you need will present themselves to you. And again, over the next few weeks, you're going to get to know a whole bunch of them really well. Okay. Angels are pure consciousness. So they don't have the limits of space and time that we have agreed to experience as humans. And the reason that this is important is because angels can be everywhere all at the same time. I have heard people, beautiful, kind-hearted souls, who have been concerned about calling on the angels and the archangels all the time. Because if Archangel Michael is working with me, he can't help someone else. And I want to just clear that up. That could not be less true. They are quantum beings, pure consciousness, and can be with anyone and everyone as needed, right? And when we call on that angelic assistance, we actually are amplifying love, the vibration of peace, the vibration of joy, and this feeds them. So it really is a beautiful reciprocity. Okay. Um, the angels have tremendous power to assist you, work with you, and will always do that in a way that is for your highest good. So while there are not protocols, although you can absolutely find particular prayers to angels, you can find mantras and affirmations, and if one makes your heart sing, go for it. That being said, when I work with them, I will always end my request with, in whatever way is for my highest good. And then I take a deep breath and I release any attachment to the outcome and to how I'm going to get to that outcome. So let me go back to my frustration from this morning with trying to log into TikTok, right? I literally was putting the email address in that is in my profile, and the site was saying it did not recognize my email address. We do not have an account with that email address. I told you I took a break. I called on my archangels. Archangel Michael tends to be my go-to. And I just called in anyone else who could help me, who's the angel of logging in. And then I said, I really need this to happen. I need it to happen quickly and easily. But if it doesn't, that's okay. I trust that you will help this situation unfold in a way that is for my highest good and the highest good of everyone who will be affected by it. Now, this morning, it happened that I was able to log in. I have had the experience where the thing that I've asked for has not come to pass. And sometimes it's a few hours, sometimes a few days, sometimes it can be a month or a year later before I realize why that did not happen, because it was not what was best for me in that moment. I just couldn't see it. So a friend of mine, you've heard me talk about Sam. Sam has a great saying, sometimes the gifts that we receive don't come wrapped the way we think they should. But what you can trust, my darlings, like you can trust the sun is coming up tomorrow, is that your angels will always and in always make sure that their assistance is in alignment with your highest good. Okay. How you will experience angels. Experiencing angels varies. The way people experience angels varies as much as people vary from person to person. The way that angels are typically portrayed are as people with wings, usually dressed in a robe, glowing, flowing. They're beautiful. My whole life, I have never experienced angels like that. But since I was a kid, I have seen color. I've seen flashing lights, colors all over the place. As I started to get to know the angels, what I realized was I see them as light. I don't see them as people with wings. I never have. And it helped me to understand that I had actually been seeing them and communicating with them from the time I was a child. I just didn't know it. I share this with you to encourage you to be open to however the angels present themselves to you. And in a minute, we're going to talk about what we call the four clairs, which are the ways of communicating with angels. But you might just get a sensation. You might get tingles, right? Goosebumps. I get that a lot from them. You might get very emotional. Some people hear things. Some people will actually see the beings. It's not me, but I know people who do. They might present as lights. I have several clients who actually experience angels through song lyrics, right? A song will pop up in their playlist and it will have exactly the message that they need. And so they've learned to notice that and trust that. Or it could just be this deep inner knowing, this feeling that you are loved, that you are safe, that you have somebody there, some presence there that is pure love, that is your support system, right? So I would invite you to stay curious and be playful because we just don't know how they're going to show up. All right. So when we talk about angelic communication or even communication with ascended masters or guides or power animals, we generally talk about the four clairs: clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance, and clairaudience. So I just want to mention each of these to you. If this work is new to you, you will probably be able to identify one of these that is your primary way of connecting with angels or guides or masters. As you become more and more familiar with the energy signatures of these beautiful beings, I think what will happen is you will be able to communicate with them using all four of your clairs, and you'll switch between them seamlessly. You won't even think about it anymore. Okay. All right. So clairvoyance, we hear about clairvoyance all the time. Clairvoyance is about seeing with your physical eyes. These are people who can actually see the beings in the room, have a strong visual sense of who they are, where they are, what they look like. Okay. Clairsentience, which is the second of the clairs, is all about feelings and emotions. Clairsentience might get those physical sensations we talked about, right? You might get a warmness in your midsection. You may get, some people call them angel tingles, right? Goosebumps. When I'm working to make a decision or I say something that is deeply true, I will get this wash, like I'm taking a shower in goosebumps. And I know that's the angels talking to me. Okay, it's clairsentience. Clairaudience, as you could guess, is about hearing. So some people can hear the angels talking to them. Next week, I'm going to share a message that Archangel Faith wanted to share with each of us. And that came through. I heard her voice and was able to transcribe what she was saying. Okay. So that's clairaudience. And the fourth is claircognizance. And I think, at least for me, I think this is the most challenging. Claircognizance is when you just know. You just know and you don't know how you know. You are probably very claircognizant if you have found in your life that people will ask you a question or ask for help or guidance, and these words come out of your mouth and you don't know how you know them, but people respond positively, or the advice you give works, or you know how to fix or do something. You don't know where it's coming from. You just know. And you'll get feedback that tells you that your knowing is true and you can count on it, right? And that, I will be honest, was for many, many years. This was my primary clair. And it can be hard to trust, but oh, trust it. Trust every bit of it. Okay. We don't have time. We're actually almost out of time already. And we don't have time to do meditations that would allow you to explore which of the clairs is your primary, or to develop one of them. But I would invite you on a daily basis, carve out 5 minutes or so, or 10 minutes, and just sit. Bring your attention to your breath, drop into your sacred heart space, and ask the angels to make themselves known to you. And then just see what happens. Just experience it. Right? Some days you'll have monkey brain and there won't be much of anything. And other days you might have some really beautiful experiences. Okay. Real quickly, and I was hoping we'd get to this meditation, but maybe we can, maybe we can do this at the end or as we're going through the series. Okay. Guardian angels. So we have already talked about this legion of angels who are around and want to help and support us. That being said, we have at least one guardian angel. Yeah, more typically two, could be more, who are with us from the moment that we transition from the higher realms into human form, and are with us every minute of every day, every breath along the way, until the time that we make our transition back home. Okay. Guardian angels will often be misconstrued as imaginary friends. Little children, no. Oh my gosh, watch a baby. Watch a baby who is content lying in its crib, and you'll see their eyes following what looks like nothing. They can see, they can sense. The veils are still thin, and they know that those angels are there. And as these little ones get older, the connection gets lost, the veils drop, and we forget. But they are there, and we can reestablish the connection for sure. Now, the way that I was taught about this is that we typically have a guardian angel who is in the space off of our left shoulder and off of our right shoulder. And so if you have, so we don't have time to do it here, but if you have some time, I would invite you to sit and again, slow your breathing, get quiet, and really bring your attention and feel, I'm laughing because I can feel them here, feel the energy off of your left shoulder and simply ask your angel, make yourself known to me in a way that is for my highest good, and then just wait. Your angel might make him or herself known to you as an image of a flower or an animal. You might get a name. You might experience a color. You might get a feeling. And if you get nothing, that is fine because it will come. I promise you it will come. Don't second guess yourself. Whatever pops into your head first, trust it. And if it's crickets, no worries. Your angel will be back with the communication. Your angel's always there. And then shift on over to the right-hand side and invite your angel to make themselves or him or herself known to you. Okay? All right. So, oh my gosh, I could keep going for days. I can't wait to sit and record next week's episode. We're going to meet the angels of the first of the 7 sacred rays. We'll explain that. I would love to introduce you to Archangel Faith and her divine feminine complement, Archangel Michael, who at least for me is like breathing. And we'll talk a little bit about this idea of divine feminine and divine masculine and kind of uncover that a little bit. But for now, my darlings, I would like to close with an exquisite quote from one of my teachers, Alana Fairchild. And she says this: "We all instinctively know that there is much more to life than competition, harshness, fear, and suffering. We sense that the qualities of gentleness, compassion, wisdom, and love could alleviate so much pain in the world. Bringing these spiritual values into our everyday lives and filtering them into mass consciousness takes time and patience. And having real life experiences of loving angelic beings that are connected to us helps us love more and fear less. We begin to believe that there is more to life than the concrete physical world that we perceive. We start to act with more faith and trust in the divine. We become open to divine assistance and intervention, and life becomes more flowing and fun. And I promise you that the more you ask your angels to connect with you, the more they will make themselves known to you. Remember, sweeties, they want nothing more than to help you, to remind you that, like them, you are beings of pure divine love and light. So have some fun. Ask your angels for help with anything that is important to you at the moment. You have a big meeting or an interview, ask them what clothes you should wear. Ask them if you need help speaking to someone in a tricky situation, or if you need inspiration for what's coming next in your life, or if you need help logging into a domain or a website. And I promise you, the more you do this, not only will they communicate with you more, but you're going to become familiar with their energy signatures. You know how when you hear someone's voice on the phone, well, I'm old. I'm going to go back to before there was caller ID on a phone. There were times where I could pick up the phone and I knew who was on the other end just from their voice and the way they felt. And this is going to happen with your angels. And the more you settle into that energy, the more you'll be able to find balance and ease, the more you'll be able to reach for compassion over judgment, love over fear, light over dark, and you will come to see yourself the way your angels see you and the way that Source sees you. Perfect, divine beings of love and light. Because guess what, my darlings? That is who and what you are. I am so grateful to each of you for being part of this. I am Penny Starhart, and this has been the Vibrational Alchemy Podcast. And until we are together again, remember always that you are loved and you are love.
This is who I choose to be. This is who I choose to